If you run a B2B tech company, you've probably noticed something strange happen over the last 12 to 18 months. Cold emails really aren't landing the same, LinkedIn outreach is starting to feel invisible, and even paid traffic isn't converting like it used to. And most people, what they're going to blame are the platform or the algorithm itself, but that's not actually what's happening. What's really changing is how B2B buyers think. And in 2026, marketing is going to reward a completely different approach that I'm going to talk about in today's video. Now, before I do, I'll introduce myself. I'm Alessandro Cucciari. I'm the CEO and founder of Techsuasive, where we build paid ad systems that help B2B tech companies scale. And so I'm sharing with you lessons along the way that I've learned the hard way so you don't have to make them. All right, so without further ado, let's dive into things, ladies and gentlemen. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about here as to why I'm seeing marketing shift is AI and automation are making certain lead gen channels way more difficult to market on. So for example, if we take cold email, if we look at 2020 reply rates and what the average reply rate was, it's about 5 to 10% with top performing campaigns anywhere from 15 to 20%. Now, in 2026, we're seeing about a normal reply rate of about 2 to 4% and really high campaigns being that 5% range. So we're seeing almost a 50% reduction in people responding to cold emails. And why is that? It's because AI and automation have inundated this lead gen channel specifically, and it's made it way harder for you to stand out when everyone and their baby mama can send out thousands of emails, inside of your inbox. And so it's a lot harder to stand out than it used to be. So cold email is one of those things that are becoming increasingly more difficult to market on and to get leads through. Second thing is we're seeing the same thing happening with LinkedIn. What used to work with LinkedIn was you were able to send out as many connection requests as you wanted, and you were able to get a high acceptance rate from a lot of these people. However, LinkedIn has now cracked down and they only allow you to send about 100 connection requests per week. And you're seeing the typical acceptance rates drop below 20%. And so it's harder for you to connect with people because most people are thinking that you're going to pitch them right off the bat. And the second thing, it's a lot harder to get people to respond to your messages just because the same thing that's happening with cold email is happening with cold LinkedIn DMs, is that there's these automation tools that people are linked up to where people are just getting spammed in their LinkedIn box every single day. So it's a lot harder to break through the noise when you're doing LinkedIn cold DMing and also cold emailing. So the thing that we have to shift is the way that we approach these platforms. So now that AI and automation has basically made it very hard to compete at scale now, unless you have a huge total addressable market that you can go after, you can just blast out a whole bunch of emails and you can run through your TAM. The way that I'd recommend that you go about using these platforms is first of all, making sure that they're a lot more personalized. So making sure that you're not just blasting out a whole bunch of emails, you're doing a multi-touch email sequence, or you're calling them in between the emails itself. The biggest thing is you have to make sure that this is a much more personalized approach because those automated approaches aren't working in 2026. Now, the second thing that I want to mention here is that what we're seeing is a move and a shift towards certain channels and specifically paid channels, right? Paid media is what I feel is going to continue to dominate the B2B tech space as the primary lead gen channel to use because it's no longer people getting reached out to on their own time in terms of when they want to book a call with you. It's them figuring out what works best for them and getting hit with a message and an ad when they're looking for a solution like yours. So it's a much more different dynamic. And I think as we start to have more in AI and automation that come into the space, more and more people are going to choose to book meetings when they want to book meetings, not just having you reach out to them specifically. Now, that is also why I recommend you starting to look for paid advertising on platforms like Meta, Google, and LinkedIn. I sometimes recommend, but I think the best platform for you to be marketing in 2026 is on Meta just because of the cost arbitrage. And I have other videos on that you can go and check out on why we recommend Meta, but that's where I really see things shifting towards in 2026. Now, the second point that I want to talk about is founder-led authority is replacing brand-led noise. So what we're seeing is that buyers more and more are opting in for brands that are built around faces, that are built around the founder, because the people are trusting a founder and a face as opposed to just a company. And if you look at some real world examples of people that are pulling this off, Adam Robinson, he's the B2B SaaS owner of R2B2. They've been absolutely crushing it. I don't even think they're really running that many paid ads, and they're just specifically doing content around Adam sharing his story and his journey of what they're doing with R2B2. Now, the second example I have for you is Tyler Denk, and their company is called Beehive. They're a newsletter platform and they're crushing it on LinkedIn with the amount of content that they're doing. And the reason why these two examples are doing so well is because they're relatable. They demonstrate what it's like to build a company in public, and it shows trust and authenticity, which people are looking for nowadays, especially in the social media world. I know it's maybe not be applied to the business sense, but everyone is flexing about X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z. To really have an authentic person come in and share their journey is ultimately what's going to build affinity towards your brand and also help help you compete with the juggernauts that are currently taking over the space right now. So what I want you to start thinking about is how you can be leveraging founder-led marketing moving in 2026. Now, it can be a couple of different things. It doesn't have to be video, even though I do recommend video content because it's the most powerful vertical to build trust, and video ads go hand in hand with video content. So leveraging video ads on platforms like Meta are going to really accelerate the results that you see because people can build trust with you as a founder and they can build trust with your product because of it. So start thinking about how you can incorporate founder-led marketing into your strategy. One thing that I typically recommend that's super easy to do on a week-to-week and month-to-month basis is recording a YouTube video like I'm doing right now. And then from that YouTube video, you just slice up shorts, different things that you can share on LinkedIn that all come from one topic. So all you have to do is really spend about 2 to 3 hours a week on your content that then can get spliced up by your team that can really give you a digital footprint and allow you to stay active on socials and have that founder-led brand. So the last point that I want to talk about in terms of why I feel like marketing is changing is that B2B buyers are now more skeptical than they ever have been. And I think that we're in what we call a trust recession, right? So buyers have seen just about every pitch under the sun. They've been burned by overpromised solutions in the past, and they've grown this type of immunity to generic marketing claims. And so what you want to make sure that you're structuring your marketing now for is proof and trust, right? Because what's happening is that a lot of these poor vendors and oversaturated messaging has caused your prospects to gain a lot of skepticism across the board. And so you want to make sure that you're prioritizing trust and also making it a relationship-based sale, especially if you're selling a product that's anywhere above $10,000 in LTV. And so one way that you can actually start implementing this within your current funnel is pretty simple. So make sure that, for example, when someone books a call, you have a 9-step email sequence that goes out that shares why you do what you do, who you are, why you're different than your competitors, why they should trust you, answering common objections. And then also when they book a call with you, you should redirect them to a confirmation page that has a little bit about you as a founder or you as a team and answers their most commonly asked questions. This is going to help build trust and provide them a better buying journey that they're going to be able to go through and ultimately decide to work with you. The last thing that you can do is making sure that you're leveraging case studies and testimonials. And a really great way to do this that I always recommend to my clients that you guys should also implement is, for example, if you have a discovery call with someone and they remind you of another client or you have a similar case study of someone that you've helped with in the past, making sure that you share that case study with them. And then you know what types of case studies are the best types of case studies? Video case studies, right? Because people really resonate with video style case studies and video testimonials. So that's why you should be leveraging videos in terms of asking your clients how you've done with them and their feedback on you and what they feel about your product. So then you can leverage these same video case studies and send them to prospects to help you build more trust with them and ultimately close those deals. So those are the 3 points that I really feel like in 2026 are going to make a big difference in marketing and really what you should be on the lookout for. If you have any other things that you think are going to really shape 2026 in terms of marketing, feel free to drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Other than that, if you guys are looking for help in terms of building a marketing strategy and a paid ad strategy in 2026 on what you should be leveraging, go ahead and book a call with me and I'll be happy to walk you through our process, how we've helped, at this point, 50 plus tech firms build a predictable and repeatable paid ad system. And I'll be able to show you exactly how that looks. Other than that, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Ciao, ciao.